Welcome, dear viewer, to UBC TV, and this is Education Forum, where we get back to the basics of Uganda's education. Education is the single most item you can give to an individual to empower them forever, and definitely a country's progress is measured on the quality of their education. Now today we look at opening up doors for talented youth and professionals. With me in studio are officials from Luyanzi Institute of Technology. On my immediate left is Engineer Mpuga Henry, who is actually one of the members of the Governing Council. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, next to him we have Mr. Mukuye Nafi, who is actually the Deputy Principal of the same institute. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Akol.
Yes, I'll begin with you, Deputy Principal.
Yes, sir.
Of course, let's look at Luyanzi Institute of Technology. As of now, because the President says that by 1st November, actually, tertiary institutions should have opened. How much preparation is there at Luyanzi College that will enable students come in, will give the parents confidence that actually the school here, the institute, is ready to receive learners?
Luyanzi Institute has been ready for I don't know how long, but in regards to COVID, we are prepared to adhere to the SOPs in a way that before someone enters, they go through all the procedures of sanitizing, checking temperature and everything before they can access our premises. Yeah. Then, still on the same issue of COVID, because that's the immediate issue that we are supposed to handle, our lecture rooms have been spaced in a way that a lecture room that could have been 100 students, we have narrowed it down to accommodate just 50 maximally, such that the students are spaced enough. And we have also encouraged the use of masks. We procured some masks for the staff. But also, we're going to encourage very much that all students, before they enter the premises, are supposed to have their masks on until they leave. So for the issue of COVID and SOPs, we are on the top, I can assure you that. Regarding the studies, we have organized the programs and we are content and everything. We're just waiting to start training our students.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mukoye. Now, back to Engineer Mpuga, and straight to the topic where we look at opening doors for talented youth and professionals. How are you going to identify the talented youth? How are you going to identify those professionals you're targeting?
Thank you, Mr. Okol. Good afternoon, viewers. I really appreciate viewers and UBC for this education forum. It is quite very important. That's where we actually enlighten the youth and professionals for the opportunities that are existing. Luyanzi Institute of Technology, just to remind the viewers, that's located in Bweyogerere, 6 kilometers away from Kampala City Center. If you reach Uganda National Bureau of Standards, it's almost 1 kilometer away from there. Back to the question, the doors we have opened, the other time I told you that Luyanzi Institute of Technology has a collaborative partnership platform where we have partnered with Wawi ICT Academy, and today's first. Already there are courses which are free and for the youth and professionals. I have to tell the viewers that if you have any child who is in senior 4 vacation and is interested in ICT and even other professionals, we have courses where they will have Wawi certified ICT associate, and they will be able to install, configure, use ICT devices, and also solve problems, because we are a skilling institution. And those ones include storage, network security, datacom, big data, 5G, wireless LAN, wireless local area network, cloud computing, and cloud servicing. So if you are a senior 4 student and you have interest, and even if you don't have the interest, because this is a world of innovation, come and take advantage of the free online courses, register with the Ryan's Institute of Technology, and then you are going to be a certified technical person in ICT. And Mr. Cole, when we talk about surviving, especially in the COVID era, if you do not have interest in ICT, it's like you don't know where you are going. And if you link it up with the National Development Plan 3, even ICT is one of the core areas they are emphasizing, plus the industry where the Ryan's Institute of Technology is coming in to train the youth and professionals to be able to survive in the competitive world. And they have to get skills that match with the labor demand. So we are prepared, and the opportunities we have opened, we have a Confucius classroom where students can study HSK4, which is a Chinese proficiency test. And if you have hopes of learning from China, then if you have this proficiency test from Ryan's Institute of Technology, located here at Bweyogerere, then you are there to go. And the costs are affordable online courses. We charge 150 for students, and we charge just 200 for the professionals who have already done other courses and they're already working.
And they are coming to be retooled.
They are coming to be retooled. The other time I told you that we have one of our objectives, continuous retooling of professionals. And this is quite very important, that don't stay there. It is quite very shaming for someone to look for a job with a certificate which has 2005. And from the entire span from 2005 up to date, there is no any other intermediate certificate. It is quite shaming, because education encourages learning, relearning, and unlearning.
Well, I think very much, Engineer Mpuga. Yes, back to Mukoye, the Deputy Principal. Of course,
Yes.
you were opening doors
Yeah.
for the youth and the professionals. Now, of course, before you can open the doors, you have to let us know what is inside the house for which you're inviting people to.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
what are those particular programs that you're inviting the youth and the professionals to?
We have quite a number of programs that have been accredited by National Council for Higher Education.
No, leave alone the those that
Okay.
possible, because now when you talk of talented youth and professionals, it means perhaps these short intermediate courses, short
Okay.
courses,
Yeah.
hands-on, that perhaps are going to help the professionals mitigate on the effects of COVID-19. Perhaps somebody was an accountant, somebody was perhaps a journalist and they've lost their job, and now they just want a hands-on training of something like 2, 3, at most 6 months, so that they can start earning a living.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that question. One of the good advantages of vocational education is the time frame that someone can get a skill. And of course, we acknowledge that. That's why we have a number of short courses within our program. So, for example, let's start with fashion designing. We have many courses under fashion design that can take a very limited time frame, but someone will come out and be able to do something and be able to be employed. For example, we have embroidery. I don't know if you visited our institute, but our institute has an embroidery machine. And it's one of our advantages that most of the institutes in Uganda, especially private, don't have those machines, the embroidery machine. But if someone could learn the embroidery machine, it could take them just 1 month. And in that 1 month, they'll be able to operate that machine and be employed. The applications for that is that they can get employment in factories that are manufacturing garments, or they can be self-employed. Just get a machine, set up a workshop, and start making money. And as fashion, we have art and design. So that's where people learn how to design different applications or different aspects in life, like drawing, painting, and all of that. We have textile printing and designing. So under textile, it's a virgin area in Uganda that is textiles. We use a lot of textile in Uganda, but it's a challenge that most of it is imported. Yeah, but we have the technology to manufacture those textiles ourselves. So if someone comes at Luyanzi Institute of Technology, within a short time of 6 months, they can learn how to decorate, design, and print their own textiles. Yeah? I'll give an example of the kitenji you're wearing. Someone can be put in position of coming up with that fabric themselves. And the applications of that are very, very many. Because if someone can do something like that, of course they will be employed. We have a number of them, but the time is short, so maybe I can just list them. I don't know.
Well, thank you very much. Let's get to engineer. Of course, the other aspect that we need to look at is the attitude. When you look at the young people, the associate technical, vocational kind of education to academic failures, to those who perhaps who have failed to raise money to advance to the next level. Now let's look at mindset change. How much, let me see, counseling, how much mobilization, how much information are you putting out there to the young people, to the youth, so that they can look at this as now a shortcut actually to the labor market? Yes.
Thank you very much. I want to give the approach as regards to the question you have asked in 2 ways. The first way, I want to straight away go to the National Development Plan 3, which was launched in July 2020. That is amidst COVID. And when you look at the vision of the plan, it is very clear. A transformed Ugandan society from a peasant to modern and a prosperous country in 30 years. They went down and looked at the goal. And the goal brings it clear: increased household incomes. The increased household incomes, they have to come from the skills someone has attained. And then when you look at the theme, sustainable industrialization for inclusive growth, employment, and sustainable wealth creation. So when you look at the National Development Plan 3, it is actually targeting people who are now positive to come up with a skill and be part of that growth. Because you cannot grow without a skill. Now, I think the mindset for the parents has to tilt and actually understand that things have totally changed. A person who has nothing to sell in terms of a skill, in terms of competence, has no way to go. However much you may actually, when you try to look at now the nature of life, success may not be determined by the qualifications. Now it is determined by the skill, what you can do and what you can
How
provide.
much you can do.
How much you can do.
Yes.
So if you have a lot of qualifications, but they cannot be backed by the skill.
They cannot translate into work.
Into work.
Yes.
Actually, now I want to tell the viewers that a vocational training is slightly different from a technical training. And vocational training, we are looking at attaining skills and abilities that help you to do the job. And that's why Luyanzi Institute of Technology, we are actually emphasizing the Directorate of Industrial Training. And that's why we have an assessment center to assess to assess competence according in line with the Uganda vocational qualification framework. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, which you actually asked about attitude. Now, if I may try to recall my research well from Dr. Benjamin, the 6 levels of Bromese taxonomy. When you look at the youth and professionals of today, there is a very serious gap between the low levels of thinking and the higher levels of thinking. And if I try to go very fast through them, there is a gap. You realize that Our youth today, they are able to remember facts, and that is knowledge. They are able to understand, explain facts. They are able to apply the facts in real life. But the biggest problem we have, there is a gap that they are not able to do analysis. Analysis is you connect various ideas. And after you have connected them, then you try to understand and make a decision. And at the end, you create something new. Now, we are lacking that concept of innovation. From the analysis, evaluation, and creation, there is a gap. Now, if you have a skill will definitely take you into the analysis. It will take you into a certain perspective where you are competitive, such that you are able to say, today, I knew this, but now tomorrow, I'm going to have something else. So we need to orient and change the mindset of the youth in terms of acquiring skills, in terms of forgetting that having qualifications which are not backed up by a skill to help you survive, then it's actually a wastage of time. So we are trying to counsel the youth, we are trying to change the mindset, and most especially the parents. Because the parents, for them, they want their children to go through the same structure they went through, even when they have not been able to survive. Through the same
education they are
at least they want their children to go through the same. We are not saying the education pattern which is existing is not addressing problem, but we are trying to enhance. Even when you go to the National Development Plan 3, they are very, very clear that the education is of low quality, characterized by high school dropouts and high levels of illiteracy. So what does that one mean? Illiteracy does not mean that maybe someone didn't go to the university. But you see, when you have nothing to demonstrate to survive, such that you can meet the minimum needs that require to be in a certain society, then that is the problem.
Well, thank you very much. And yes, I go to Mukuye, the deputy principal. You know, I've always had problems with administrators of technical schools, technical institutes, vocational schools across the country. You go to a technical school, technical college, they are training builders, they are training merchants, they are training engineers, but you find their buildings in a sorry state. They are training electrical engineers, but some of their rooms are not. So let's see how you're doing it, because we would imagine that charity begins at home. That if you're training builders, you should have good buildings. If you're training civil engineers, you should have very good roads. If you're training electrical engineers, you should at least let that be reflected by the time somebody gets into the gates, so that yes, this is Luyanzi Institute of Technology.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hall. So that's a very good issue, because it's hindering the progress of vocational education. Most institutions don't have enough infrastructure to call themselves vocational, because a vocational course is practical, and for that we need very, very good and modern laboratories and workshops. The advantage we have over others is the space we have. We have space of over 10 acres and room for expansion. So, but for now, the 10 acres we have buildings that are spacious enough for workshops. For example, I'll give you an example of cosmetology as a course. Cosmetology alone has 4 lecture rooms, and they're spacious. Each can take around 50 students. And in those lecture rooms, we have all the facilities that are needed for that course to take place. But I would like to explain that the students that are going through that course are going to see the examples, because the way the directors or the way the administration has formed Luyanzi Institute is that as the students are learning, they are also seeing examples of businesses running. I would like to give an example of our institute in that regard. For example, in the Department of Engineering, we are setting up courses in that department also. But before we start anything, we set ourselves that if a student comes, they get full of what they've paid. Let's say under construction. You talked about, we've talked about construction and our institutes are doing it. In our institute, we have projects of construction that are going on. For example, the new technology of slates. That's the technology that China uses to build very, very fast. So the student will learn how to mix concrete, but they will see it practically when it is being mixed, and they will see it when it is being used to construct a building, as the students also construct that building, you understand? For example, you're talking about mechanical engineering. The issue that those schools do, they get one car, one used car, and they, at the beginning of the term, they go through that same car. It doesn't even have to run. They just describe the parts of the car and their functions. We are not doing that. We want the student, by the time they finish, if they are doing, for example, fashion and design, to be able to do a school uniform and complete it. Because they will be seeing it. In our workshops, the students will see when the uniforms are the order is being made, the uniform is made, and up to the last stage of delivering that uniform to that school. Because we also have that branch of business where students will practice business under our facilities. The products will come out from start to end. For example, we've talked about fashion, we've talked about construction, there is catering and hotel management, there is cosmetology. So by the end of, I'll give another example of cosmetology. When a student comes to learn cosmetology, they don't just practice on dolls or dummies. Yeah? We encourage them to come with clients, like a real person, so that when that person will sit in class, the teacher will tell the student that now, today we are going to learn, for example, pencil. They will do it practically. Then the client that the student will come with will be marked practically, and that client will go out with that hairstyle done.
Well, that is great to learn that. Now let's get to engineer issues of standards, issues of quality, because most institutions have very good programs but fail by the standards and the quality. You, as part of the governing council, how do you ensure that the principal and their team are actually conforming to the set standards, giving the quality education that is required, imparting the right skills for your students to fit into the job market?
Thank you very much. It's a very good question, because the quality assurance and maybe perhaps standards, it is always the benchmark. Even when the learner comes out, he or she can be referred. And then people say that, I think that institute is doing great. And you know, it is quite paining when someone pays money and actually you are providing a service or a skill which is not of any value to society. And before I go to that, but I think here, the private sectors which have come into the vocational and technical training, most of them came having seen the gap to close, but when they failed to have the support and sensitization and from the public or from the population, they did what they could. But I think this time around, the attitude of the parents has totally changed depending on the COVID effects. After people realizing that I'm a professional, but now what can bail me out is to make bricks, or to make a cake, or even to go for fashion. But back to that question, when you look at our core values, we have what we call professionalism. And what is professionalism? Adherence to the standards when you are performing a job. So as Riyadh Institute of Technology, having gone through a rigorous process of the National Council for Education, quality cannot be compromised. And also, how does quality get compromised and standards? Even when the instructors are not interested in what they are doing and they are not motivated. I still sound myself clear that our instructors are skilled and they will not only entirely depend on classroom work, but we have workshops where we shall be having production. Like an instructor of fashion and design will definitely have a production sector where they have to, him or her with the students, they have to do work which at the end of the day can generate an extra income. Now, basing on that, when someone is motivated and loves he or she what is doing, the concept of quality cannot be compromised. Those cases can only happen when a person is giving a good service, is educating the youth, but at the end of the day or at the end of the month, this person cannot actually be proud of the service or she has given. So as Riyadh Institute of Technology, the quality assurance plan is very clear, the guidelines are very clear, and we have to sign contracts and agreements. But at the end of the day, we have also to make sure that our instructors are actually proud of what they are doing. You know, when you do something with love, you can deliver the utmost. But if you do it with a reservation, then you can't give the best.
Well, I think very much, this takes me to the principal.
Yes, sir.
Because he says the instructors. You know, always at times got issues with some instructors who behave like witch doctors that give riches and yet they are poor.
Yeah.
So are they these instructors who teach people on how to build houses when they cannot build their own houses? Are they these instructors who are actually helping people to make very good furniture when they do not have the same type of furniture in their homes? So in other words, I'm trying to look at the welfare of those people. How much are they empowered that they should be a reflection of what they are teaching?
Thank you very much for that question. And it's a very good question. Before someone does something, they have to be empowered to do it. And the first thing that Riyadh does is pay them very well. Our instructors are well paid for, and their welfare is catered for, like feeding, hospital, medical bills, among other things. But that aside, because that's the standards, the Riyadh Institute has gone forward an extra mile and started projects for those instructors to earn money. For example, this is for all people there who could be interested in working with us. If someone came up with a project at the school, let's say I'm a fashion instructor, and I come up with an idea of making school bags, I'll present that idea to the principal of the institute, that is Mr. Ali, or if in his absence, that is Mr. Mkuye. So the principal will go through the idea, will set up a panel and forward it to the directors. Now, our good directors will fund that project if they find it suitable. And we'll sit on a round table still with the instructor, and we'll share the profits from that project. For example, if a year the instructor comes up with a project of making school bags, and in that year they make 10,000 school bags. So they will calculate the cost of those bags, and in the profit, that profit will be shared between the school and the instructor. That is not common for other institutions. Yeah? So we thank the directors for their generous hearts for that opportunity. You will find that only in those projects, the instructors will get more money than even the salary that they signed.
And where does it leave the students? Because I believe that would also accommodate students to inspire them more.
Exactly.
Because by the time a student is in their final year, they should have even opened a bank account. And so that they say, look here, I made this money when I was in my final year.
Yeah. That's very good. And actually, the students, the people within the institutes, that's the instructors and the students are considered first for any positions within those projects. For example, with labor, if the instructor, I'll give you the same example of that project of school bags, the first labor they will look for are the students. However, it will only be considered if that employing that student to do that work on that project is not going to hinder their studying. But in a way it cannot, because they will be getting more practice with the working on that project. So the truth is, with us, if a student comes, even in their first semester, they will start earning. They don't even have to first finish this studying. They can start earning right away. Now, the other staff will still benefit in that same project. For example, the project will have the project manager, all of that. Yeah? So, still, like I said, the project owner, or the person who come up with the project, will look through for the employment will be within the staff and the students first.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, to Ms. Engineer Mpuga, you know, education institutions, ideal at tertiary level, they are supposed to conduct 3 cardinal roles: teach, research, and outreach. And now it comes to institutes of technology like Luyanzi that have bus, or perhaps that concentrate on vocational and technical. We need to see more and more of outreach. That perhaps there is a broken bridge somewhere. Luyanzi students have come and are fixing it. Perhaps there is a community hall somewhere. We are seeing the students. So how much outreach is there at Luyanzi College?
Thank you very much. I would like to be very fair to remind you that education is an investment in human capital. And the mere fact that you are within the education circles, whether that is the first outreach, because you are giving knowledge and skills, first of all, people to be useful to themselves, such that they are not, again, problems to the society. Because without knowledge and skill, you have already done a disservice to the society. And that's why we are emphasizing the issue of sustainable development, where we are looking at if someone is gaining a skill to earn an income or profit, the environment is protected. And at the same time, the society.
You know,
but before that, like what you want to ask, the Luyanzi Institute of Technology has also created a provision to go to the society or to the community to do what we call social corporate responsibilities, like giving nets to the mothers who may suffer from the mosquitoes. But at the same time, within our plans, we have provisions to reach out to the disabled and assist them with the wheelchairs. We also have it in a plan that when we train the youth and they have special skills, we go out there and offer free. First of all, I've told you that we are offering free online services, which are quite very expensive. And all the senior folks up to any profession, you are free to register and study for free. You only get your own data. Already that one, we have reached out to the community. But because of the COVID restrictions, other interventions that will be enclosed within our social corporate responsibility cannot be done, but they are there. And we have done them previously by giving out mosquito nets to the mothers, and also reaching out and counseling the girls and boys, such that they are very much aware of the risks which are ahead of them for the future.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, Principal, let's look at, of course, I've seen this with some technical, vocational, and technology institutes in Europe, that you find a university, a faculty of either of engineering or of agriculture, whether it is a school of technology, whether it is an institute of this, having a showroom, either in town, that look here, this is if you want to sell our products, this is where we have our showroom. Where is Luyanzi's showroom? Do you have such an arrangement?
Thank you very much for that question. Since most of our courses are visual courses, by visual courses I mean the person who's going to come out is going to be doing something that can be seen. For example, food on table, garments and all that. Of course, we need a showroom. And we are planning to come up with, to make a gallery, a spacious gallery, where we can display all our works, especially the students' works, and teach the students how to display work. For example, if it will be a disservice if I taught a student in fashion and design and not show them how to set up an exhibition. So that plan is there and the space is there. We're just waiting for the schools to reopen so that it can, because for it to exist, it needs to have work in it. So we're just waiting for our students to do the work and we set it up.
Engineer Mpuga, you see these days the world has become a global village, and we are seeing people, businesses, institutions getting partnerships. So let's look at, do you have, of course I saw that you have Chinese. Should we assume that you have partners in China? You have sister institutions in China? And if so, have you developed an exchange program so that you can compare best practices?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. Even when I talk about the free ICT courses, number one, we have already collaborated with Huawei ICT Academy, and we have a platform where Huawei has embraced us to be able to offer courses to the youth and professionals. Luyanzi Institute of Technology has a Confucius classroom. We are affiliated with Makerere University. Makerere University is a university with the Confucius Institute, and they teach Chinese language. And also Luyanzi Institute of Technology with its Confucius classroom, it is affiliated. And like the question you have asked, we have Luyanzi Institute of Technology is under Luyanzi Academic Foundation, which also owns Luyanzi College. I think people mix the two. And if you try to follow up, even on the website, Luyanzi College took Ugandan students to China to participate in the Peace of Flag, not once, even 3 times. You know, when you want to work with people, you need to appreciate their culture. And that's why we advance Chinese language, such that if you understand what someone says, it is easy for you to cooperate. So the partnership we are having, actually we are developing more. And maybe as time goes on, we shall try to enlighten the youth and professionals the opportunity through those collaborative partnerships. But those ones I'm very comfortable with to speak about Huawei ICT Academy, and let every senior, for anybody, even you can just log on, just get your data and get certified in ICT courses so that you are able to have updated ICT applications. Then Chinese language. We have a Confucius classroom. If you study from the Luyanzi Institute of Technology, your proficiency test in Chinese, it is recognized when you go to China and you want to study in Chinese language. So we are trying to build the platform. But because of the COVID restrictions, our speed has been actually hindered. But we have a very good collaborative partnership platforms we have opened and yet are coming. And we shall inform you.
Yeah, still tuned to UBC TV, and this is Education Forum, and we are looking at opening up doors for talented youth and actually professionals. Now, the question is, how do we identify talent from the youth who have not yet joined Luyanzi College? Yes, Principal.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ko, for that question. The truth is, most youth are talented in their different aspects, but are hindered by how to explore or how to learn and develop those skills further or those talents. So it is easy. the good education system of Uganda has made it possible for everyone, for at least to reach senior 4, they will have explored and discovered their talent somehow, be it in sports or secular education or any other. So I understand by the time someone reaches senior 4, they will know what they want, be it in fashion or, but still, we welcome we welcome those youth, even those who don't have any idea of what they can do. We take them through career guidance. We take them through our courses and tell them the implications of studying any of those courses, such that when that youth makes up their mind, they have really selected what they want to be in the future and how to achieve that. Let's talk about youth who have not reached senior 4 level. Those are the ones that haven't been able to explore enough. Still the same thing. We introduce them to different aspects of talents. For example, fashion designing, cosmetology and beauty therapy. And still, under those departments, there are sub-departments. For example, under cosmetology and beauty therapy, we can introduce them to manicure, pedicure, hairstyling. We can introduce them to massage and all those. So the truth is, the talent that the youth will have may it not be explored, except if they come and practice it at Luyanzi Institute of Technology. And the only way that someone can know what they are talented in is through trying different things. And I can tell you that you can do that at Luyanzi.
So the method is the try and error.
Yeah.
Yeah, you try until perhaps they see you have some perfection, some feel as if perhaps that is your talent.
And then you specialize.
And then you specialize.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. Now let's get to engineer. Of course, management plays a very, very, very key role, and we shall also look at schools, especially tertiary institutions are opening on 1st November. If all goes well, if all doesn't change as per the president's actually last communication. Now, how much preparation in terms of resources? How much are you engaging government in terms of stimuluses? Members of parliament are talking of a recovery plan, a opening plan for tertiary institutions. So what is it that perhaps you'd wish to share with the government, so by the time you open, at least they should have helped you have it in place?
Thank you very much. I think already the plans for reopening tertiary institutions are in progress. Of course, against some conditions of vaccinating, maybe the instructors or the teachers as well, and also maybe institutions instituting the what we may say the COVID SOPs, so that we do not actually land into a very big trouble of COVID. But Luyanzi Institute of Technology, good enough that we have enough space, and also our classes are ready. But what comes into play that the government, like I shouldn't just get tired of speaking on it, that if we want to encourage vocational and technical training, they have to create awareness and sensitizing the parents. You have talked about identification of talent. And today I had not even an argument, but an interaction with someone saying that, but who is government? In my own view, I know these are different bodies. So when you are talking about government, you have to be very open and say, either I'm talking about Ministry of Education, either I'm talking about Ministry of Health and all that. But also you as an individual, you are part of the government because you give out your power to someone to be able to plan for you. But also, even if the government has good plans, but you as an individual, you have to be at a certain level to benefit. And that's why I'm saying that who identifies the talent of a child? So we are actually seeing it during the COVID time, that actually parents are actually saying that it is the school to plan for the child. And that's why we are finding a lot of messes. They are even failing. So what am I trying to say? That the government has to sensitize that parents have a role to play in the growth and the development of the child. that even the parent can actually identify and know where this child can do better. We have had situations whereby parents dictate, I want you to be this, I want you to be this.
But at times it is their role to guide.
Their role to, yes, their role to guide.
Because ideally, there's no need, as you said, education is an investment. There's no need why a parent would invest in a course where he knows that actually the results are not going to be good. They would want to see their child, upon graduation, they can either fit into the labor market or they can start up their own venture.
Yes, but when we talk about talent, the straight version of talent would actually see the fruits in COVID. That actually with the qualification and the skills people have from the time they graduated, they are able to start certain things. But everyone is crying to government, meaning that the guidance to somewhere or the other, the government has to come in and do sensitization. And say, parents, yes, we have this and that, but let your children have such skills accompanying what you wish them to become. Even if someone wants to become a lawyer, but there is no harm someone to have a skill on maybe catering or either fashion and design, or even when someone has done another course, automotive can be the best choice. Or maybe because we are looking at a situation that how do you survive in every situation? So the government has to come in to sensitize and educate parents, to have the parents forum, such that they learn how to nurture and also identify talents in their children. Because a parent can understand. You see, there are cases whereby even when it is your brother or sister, your brother can tell you, I want to become this. It is not like a discouragement. But according to the nature and the attitude and the behavior, you tell someone that, no, I think you may be good at this because you are with this person. Now, when a child comes at Lianzi Institute of Technology, definitely we take them through counseling and we try to study them psychologically and then advise them that I think according to what you have gone through, according to the trials you have done in life, and even according to your age, I think if you take this direction, it can take you through faster other than wasting any more time. So we encourage government to create a sensitization and awareness program for the youth and also the parents as well, and also try to look at vocational and technical training as a new way to actually build the economy. And even when you try to look at the NDP3, they are actually emphasizing BTVET. Technical skill, they're actually emphasizing skilling. Why? Because we have to be real with our economy and contribute. We need the population which is of quality and which is skilled, such that we can actually build the economy.
Well, to the principal, I actually have a Swedish friend who told me that they learned carpentry when they had retired. When they reached after retiring from civil service, he realized that he was very idle and said, let me learn something that will keep me busy. And within a year, he had learned carpentry, and he's doing well. So do you have packages for retired people, perhaps, who feel they can still serve society?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. The truth is, we have packages for everyone. As long as someone can write and talk and hear, we have packages for them. For example, I'll give you an example of someone, I use the same example of you, someone who has retired. They need to stay active. They need to stay active. So, of course, we have packages for them. You will come, and the beauty about vocational education is it takes very little time. For example, even 6 months. Someone can come and study for 6 months and be able to do something. For example, they can study how to stitch, that is tailoring. They can cover that. They can study catering, for example, baking, and pastry. They can study short courses. We have a lot. I can't mention all of them, but I will encourage someone to pass by. We don't refuse anyone to enter as long as you adhere to the SOPs, just to see. We're not hiding anything. We can take you around the school and you can see the workshops. That's when someone can make up their mind. But to answer your question, we have packages for the old, the young, and everyone.
Well, thank you. Mpuga, I can see time really is not our best ally. But I just also wanted to clarify on this because there was a case for a technical institute in Ghana actually who really had issues because when most of their chemicals expired, they did not really dispose them off, and students continued using them, and later the effects were there for everybody to see. 2 years of the effects of COVID-19, chances are that there are chemicals that were bought and were not used, perhaps they have expired. So how are you going to address this so that perhaps you don't really put the lives of students at risk?
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, the example you have given from Ghana, I don't know that it's government or private, but if it is private, then that's where, in our context of Uganda, we try to say that as much as you bring the private sector to enhance either on issues of education, because even when you try to see that, you find that the government creates avenues for the private sector to come into play and boost the economy. But also, we still have to echo that let the government have to institute the monitoring and evaluation systems, such that even when before institutions open up, they have to come and do a roundup and see if they conform to the requirements and regulations required to offer the education. Yeah. So I think here it's a bit different.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's get to the principal, because the question is before you open on fast, I don't know, will you allow parents and other stakeholders perhaps to come and look at how prepared you are so that society and government can be rest assured that really yes, you're going to do a good job?
Yeah, actually even right now, if someone wanted to visit, the place is not overcrowded, so they don't have to worry about that, COVID. They can come. We have a team of people who just are there to welcome those guests and take them around through the different disciplines and infrastructure and everything before they make up their mind. So they don't even have to wait for the opening, but they can come right now and make up their mind and just wait for first when they've already chosen the courses that they want to do or the courses that they would like their children to do. On that same note, I would like to encourage the parents to have an open mind. You know, we are too much used to the secular education that if someone doesn't get a degree, is seen as a taboo in society, which is okay. The degree is fine. But
yeah, because those days we only had Makerere University.
Yeah.
But now we have so many universities.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Would want to get a degree, perhaps before they die.
So the degree is fine, but why not see through other options? Because it's okay for someone to have a degree and a diploma. So find time and just pass by, before you make up your mind. Go to the institute. We are not very far. Actually, we are very close to Kampala. So go to the institute, look through, see the different programs, see what the student can become after learning them, or even during the learning process, and make up your mind. But have an open mind. If someone, for example, your children tell you they want, for example, to do fashion and design, before you cast them, first go and understand what that is. Or the implication of them learning that. First go to the institute and talk to the instructors, talk to the teacher, talk to the administration before you make up your, because it doesn't mean it's one or the other. Yeah. It doesn't mean they only do the degree. They can do both.
Before I come to Mpuga, I would beg that you look into the camera and your last message to the viewer.
So my last message to the viewer is vocational education is the future. I could talk endlessly about the importances of vocational education, but most of all is employability. The student who does vocational education can either get employment or employ themselves with just limited capital. So we've all agreed that vocational education is very good. Before you make up your mind on a particular course, first choose the institute that can offer that course. The standards and everything that Ruyanza Institute has put in place will be able to give you even more than what you pay for. For example, for every course that you register for at Luyanzi, we can offer you free introduction to Chinese language.
Well, thank you very much, Mukuye.
Welcome.
Nafi, who is actually the Deputy Principal, Luyanzi Institute of Technology. Yes, Engineer Mpuga, you parting shot.
Thank you very much. Maybe as I conclude, there is a question to ask ourselves. When the university drops some courses it has been offering, what is the way forward for those who had studied them before? So there is an issue of manpower planning where the government has to sensitize the public on what to take so that they avoid disappointments. The youth and professionals embrace continuous learning, embrace the skilling. It is the way to go. And also encourage others. Those who have not been on this show, let them embrace the free ICT courses we have at Luyanzi Institute of Technology and the ongoing online Chinese language. You never know. Your life may turn at a point if you embrace skilling and a new language in your life. Thank you very much.
Well, I must thank you very much, Engineer Mpuga and Mpuga Henry and Mr. Mukuye Nafi, who's actually the Deputy Principal of Luyanzi Institute of Technology. And to you, viewer, thank you for keeping it at UBC TV, especially Education Forum, where we discuss, share, and plan on how to better our education system. Finally, I must thank the management of UBC TV for creating such a program and platform that encourages us to think and also come up with innovations for our education system. Mandakola Mazima is my name, saying bye-bye.